Alright, so this is the dig.
Watch your corners, boys. We don't know who cleaned this place out.
So we're just going to take our guys, we're going to stim right away here, just to heal them up, and we're going to switch in between the zealots. We really don't want to lose any guys here. We're just making sure that these zealots stay slowed, and the healers will just, the medics will just heal everyone up.
At least we know what happened to the other expedition.
No issues here. Run down here, and this is where we're going to get our siege tanks.
Hold up there. Those Protoss cannons will tear us a new one if we try to advance. Swan, you promised me siege tanks. Where are they?
So get the siege tanks to focus on the pylon just to get through this area faster. Once that pylon's down, we can use our units and stim to just burn down everything else.
These new siege tanks work just like the old ones. When you put them in siege mode, they get increased range and firepower. They can't move in siege mode, so if you need to reposition them, just switch them back into tank mode. You got it?
Let's get some siege tanks deployed on the high.
So we're just going to sit on the ramp here and stim again, just melt down the last of these guys. And we're going to move into our base. So we're going to put all our SCVs on the line. We're going to build a refinery right off the bat here. Start up our SCVs and our mule. Start our upgrades. Start our armory so that we can increase our tank damage and defense. We'll start our barracks lab to build additional medics and marauders. And just pump out SCVs at the moment. We put our tanks in the two corners because they're going to be in siege mode to take out the initial things that try to infiltrate our base. We're going to split up half our forces with the one marauder up top, and we're going to make another one for the bottom. I only put 2 on each refinery instead of 3, just because the Vespene gas isn't as important. But as soon as that armory is done, we're going to start upgrading that damage, keep the mules coming and whatnot. And now we're going to start pumping out some siege tanks. We'll start building bunkers just to wall off. We're not going to... I'm assuming you've already gotten your research, so we're not even going to bother leaving the base. I'm not going to leave a space for people to go through. We're just going to wall off completely, and then we don't have to worry about anything at all. Again, keep the SCVs flowing, build supply depot, you know, one before you need it.
Go ahead. Yo. SCV ready. We could use some help here. One big job. This better be good.
So about 3 minutes in, you should have your first set of upgrades complete, and start filling your bunkers.
Upgrade complete.
We're just going to start the next set of upgrades right away.
Not enough minerals.
Again, we're just going to keep on building additional bunkers. We're going to slowly fill them. It's not super important, though the siege tanks are just as important as the filling of those other bunkers. But it's good to have the Marauder in the first bunker. At least with the tech upgrade I had, the Marauder's rockets actually slow units, so anything trying to come up the ramp will just get slowed, and the tanks will take it out before it even makes it up to the top of the ramp.
Not enough energy.
But we haven't even seen anything going on yet. This is all pre-battle. And get our vehicle weapons Tech 2 going, and you know, you just can't have enough SCVs in this map. Any additional SCVs will just be used to heal your turrets and your bunkers as well. Now, I should get into I'm going to start designing a sort of pattern for my siege tanks to get in. Basically, you want to put them in a line that allows the SCVs to get to any SCV. You don't want to block any in so the SCVs can't get in to repair.
Not enough minerals.
So I'll point that out more when we get there. But right now we're just making the initial line so SCVs will get there no problem. Just keep out pumping the tanks, pumping out your Marines. We're going to have 4 medics at the end. Basically a medic for each of the bunkers. 3 of the units in the bunkers are going to be the Marines, and 1 Marauder for each. The other thing we're going to be thinking of soon is we're going to be adding additional turrets because they do have airdrops a few times. So we're going to build additional turrets. I'll tell you what time, but just keep on watching your clock and making sure that you're staying current. Again, tanks do so much damage. They're going to take out most of the stuff anyway. Use that drill to take out a bunch of the other things, but honestly, you're going to be in such a tank mode that you're not going to lose barely any units at all, followed by just focusing mainly on the drill taking out those bunkers. Sorry, the structures of the Protoss once we get that going. So here I'm going to take additional off the line and get that armor going for the tanks. At this point in time, we're about 7 minutes in. We're going to start building turrets. On hard, I generally build about 5. And just having access to all of them, making sure that they're positioned that SCVs can get to all of the turrets, will ensure that they won't go down at all. Here we see here, you got a full squadron with Archons. Doesn't even get through the first line. You barely have any units.
The laser drill has breached the doors.
That's just because of upgrades and whatnot.
Not enough minerals.
We'll just make sure that research is always flowing there. Keep on building those SCVs. Keep on building those bunkers. You're going to shoot for about 125 supply at the end of this. But until then, it's not that too big of a deal. So if you see here, I don't put it right in that crack. I leave a little bit of a space so that that SCV can get through that area.
Alert. Enemy air units on approach vector.
Damn it. Air units, nothing. Those are transports.
Okay, so at 8.5 minutes was when the first wave of air came by, but nothing gets through at all.
Upgrade complete.
Gangway coming through.
Not enough minerals.
You don't need air upgrades in this map at all. I didn't build any air. It's not really worth it. I end up with a ton of minerals and Vespene gas at the end, but I still think that having a little bit on the side is always good in case you lose anything.
Not enough energy.
And yeah, we're just taking up and
Sir, I'm picking up the
taking
several Protoss relics.
lots of time. You know, we don't need to be worrying about getting in the bases right away. We control the laser, and therefore we control, as long as we keep the laser busy, we can basically control when this map is going to end. I have this ending at about 30 minutes, but it's easy. So if you see here, I'm going to move this SCV. Yep, it's okay. It can go down the entire way and still heal the bunkers. I got another guy, one monitoring the turrets, one on the bunkers, and one on the tanks. Oh, I am going to increase that amount eventually, but right now that's fine.
Armed and ready.
And then we're almost done our upgrades, 10 minutes into the game, so that's really good.
What's going on? We hear you. Big job.
You know, the marine armor almost isn't necessary because of the bunkers, but I do it just in case a bunker blows up. I've never had a bunker blow up, but you're going to be stacked with cash anyway, so it's not going to really matter too much, but the tanks are going to take some damage. At about 10 minutes and 45 seconds is when I started building my command center, about halfway through the temple door. It does take a little while for that command center to build, so you know, I just had enough money to have a tank being queued up at the same time. Here's Hammer saying something. I don't have a clue. You please enlighten me. And we're just gonna keep it busy for a little bit. Now the turret is a little bit tricky. Now you can see it has a little connecting dots, and that's just holding the shift when attacking. But you really need to make sure that you hit A and click every single time. If you don't, sometimes the laser's going to stick on the door until it's dead before switching to a different user. So just make sure you're attacking first.
The doctor is in.
Huh? Move it. I'm going.
And you can set rally points as well, so that if they don't go to one place, they'll go to the next as well. So as you see there, it's going to go to one bunker and then go to the next. So now I've made it so that I've got 4 SCVs near that stuff, just because you never know how much damage it's going to take.
It's about to get heavy. Bad news. Go ahead. Ah, you scared me.
And I've completed. I'm going to take 5, and I'm going to use a load.
Doctor is in.
And I'm going to lift this off the ground here. I'm going to go a bit to the left. There's going to be 2 cannons and a pylon. But don't go too far in. Make sure you have your base just stacked before you start committing to that structure destroy.
SCV ready.
So at about 40,000 here, I'm moving in, just barely in range, and I'm using the tower to start taking things out.
We gotta take them out, or they'll keep dropping troops right on top of us.
Again, with all these SCVs around, healing my tanks, healing everything, they just don't even have a chance.
Hey. We need that damn drill. Don't trash it. It's go time.
So I'm going to move a little bit in. Taking a little bit of damage, but it doesn't matter. So that's 3 right there. I said 3. I was trying to keep count. I ended up losing count.
Field depleted.
Go ahead. Ah, you scared me.
And I'm just making a line here. Something that the SCVs can get on either side of those tanks. Here I'm making a line in the opposite direction, so just to make sure I can get in there, and
Go ahead.
that should be fine.
Ready to roll out.
So I moved up on top of the mountain. I don't go right up the hill because that's where everything comes out of. I start coming in from the side, and I'm going to take out anything. Priority-wise is anything that it can attack my command center. The reason why we chose the command center is because it has the most health, and also can carry those SCVs. You'll see in a second I start taking some damage with it, and I just drop all those SCVs. They were paired up enough, and I load them right back up before they all die.
The laser drill is now cutting through the core.
So at about 32,000 left, I'm just starting to take out anything. Stalker goes down. But now that my base is mainly set up, I'm going to focus entirely on the drill. It's going to be the entire basis of this game. I'm saying I've got good enough defense right now that it can ward off anything. So I just started going to town. 6, 7. I don't know if it counts if it's just starting up, but I burn them anyway. Take out that air unit, and I'm gonna make it a little bit easier. Just saying that there's gonna be some hard units coming in. I don't want to lose all my guys, so used it a little bit on the units, but it's not necessary. Your tanks are gonna be able to take everything out anyway, so. Again, leaving a little room for SCVs to get through, and again, just enough to see that there's motion on the guys. I see a stalker here. Stalker's got to go, but he backed out, so that's okay. And it's just really slow working your way in, taking out things. So I switch right away. I'm going to take out the air unit first, and then I'll burn everything else around it. It's really not too complicated. I think I probably burn well over 50. If you're going for the achievement, it'll, as soon as you get it, you can quit the map. It's not essential that you complete the map to get the achievement. So once you burn down, since you've already completed the map, you just leave after that. But yeah. Just go in. I keep on building stuff, but my minerals are starting to close up, and that's pretty much the entire achievement. Like, other than that, I can't help you. You know, I toss a ton of SCVs eventually at my base, and other than that, I'm just slowly going in. I don't have to worry about the immortals. I don't have to worry about the zealots because those can't attack air. So I'm just plugging away at anything I can see. I eventually started taking out the probes because I wasn't sure if they count as killing structures or not. But I just leave my base alone. There's just nothing left for it to do. There's a wave of air coming in. Don't need to worry about it. So I think in total I've got 3 bunkers each side with 9 Marines, 3 medics, and 3 Marauders, and then about 7 or 8 siege tanks in siege mode, properly positioned with you know, between 3 and eventually like 10 SCVs, because my minerals run out. They're not doing anything anyway, so you might as well have them in healing up your tanks and whatnot. And once you got that, I just go to town. You'll see in a second here, I'm gonna take a little more damage on my command center, so you'll see me unload them real quick, and they'll heal it up enough for it not to be on fire anymore. I use my laser to take out some immortals so that I can drop them safely afterwards, heal it right back up to 100%, and then I just keep clearing this out. So it's after that it becomes redundant. You can feel free to watch all the way to the end, but at this point I'm sort of done with the commentary. I don't do anything else with the base, and I don't do anything else with the commander too much. So I hope you can get this achievement, guys, and I will talk to you guys later.
depleted. Vespine geyser exhausted.
Bad news?
Mineral field depleted.
I'm in deep! Fueled up, ready to go! Ready to roll out! Fueled up, ready to go! Hey, I'm in deep! Give us
In the rear with the gear. Huh? Yep.
ready to roll out!
Well,
Speak up! Fueled up, ready to go! I'm in deep!
is under attack.
I'm in deep!
Our SCVs are under attack.
I'm in deep!
breach of the doorway core is imminent. Structured access imminent.
It is our sacred duty to stop these defilers. Burn them to ashes. You have prevailed for now. Word of this sacrilege will echo across the stars, James Raynor. The day of reckoning draws near.
These artifacts of yours seem real popular, Tychus.
What do we care? As long as the pay's good.
Really? I'd say getting vaporized by the Tal'Darim definitely counts as diminishing returns.